Back down the beautiful Black Hills of South Dakota, home to Mount Rushmore and a whole host of other national landmarks. And right now we're getting ready for the bareback riding, but before we do, let's go to world champion bareback rider Kelly Timberman, who's getting ready to load the chutes in what could be the most competitive event of the season. Kelly?
I tell you what, guys, we're talking about matchups and races all the way through this, and that bareback riding is tight. It's only $700 that separate Jared Smith and Josie Young. But Josie Young, he's got a horse today called Gopher Hole of Birch Rodeo. This horse, they've won just about everything on. I mean, this horse is phenomenal. Just jumps out, really gets in the air, and showcases everything that Josie's going to do in a perfect spur ride. Then another horse that's kind of an underdog, Time Rental of Sutton's. Eric Wolford has this horse. He's going to jump out there, might turn back, might not. All I know is it's going to be exciting and fun to watch.
All right, thank you, Kelly. Our pickup men tonight are Brent Sutton and Ryan Olson. Our first rider is John Addison from Midland, South Dakota. Winter Count is the horse from Sankey as we get ready to ride here outside. Beautiful night. They've had a lot of rain in the Black Hills, but it's going to be a good condition for bareback riding.
Here we go. Look at the spur out. Gets a little wild. Look at this horse. Really good. He's tapped now. Took him a little bit to get going, but it looks good.
You know, when we go back to this replay here in just a minute, it didn't look like he was getting the spurs, the heels of them Rocky boots all the way up there in that neck where he needed to be. It looks like he's just kind of flopping them, fanning them legs, instead of really being aggressive, taking a hold with them feet, dragging it to the rigging, and then setting his feet.
Right. And I tell you what, at the first, it kind of looked, like you say, a little off. At the end, he finished strong.
Yeah. Let's go to Orrin Larson of Twin Falls, Idaho on Who's Who from JS Rodeo.
Boy, nice horse. Orrin, he's an outstanding young talent. He can really get a hold of a horse and make a great bareback ride. Look at this, going through it. Awesome. Getting a hold, going to the front. Everything's coming together. That's a nice little spur ride.
Contact from right behind the ears, if you will, back to the handle. Keep that contact. Look at that. All the way back. Contact all the way back. Contact all the way back.
Exactly. Horse is good to ride, but if you'll look, the horse is not tipping over, kicking straight out behind him. I like the ride, but I think it's going to cost him.
It's an 82 effort, though, an 82. Let's go to Eric Wolford. This guy had taken an absolute beating this year. He had his hand get blown out last week from Cape Girardeau. Time Rental is the horse from Sutton Rodeo Company. This little guy from Michigan with a toothpick in his teeth will not quit. There's no give up, back up, and Eric Wolford.
This horse was not easy to ride, Justin. I mean, when he turned out that first couple of 3 jumps, yeah, he's all right. Right here, but watch when he turns back. Eric's got it all working for him right here. It doesn't even slow down. Even though the horse is different, spinning, he's still spurning with both feet.
Nicely done. Eric Wolford, who's had the most outs of anybody this year on tour because he's in the bareback riding and the saddle bronc riding. Only a 77. The judge is perhaps a little conservative with that 77, and he's wondering what happened. As we go to Jared Smith, the Florida, the number 3 bareback rider. Separated shoulder last year. The man who won Lexington this year, Pretty in Pink from Birches.
Boy, this is one I'm excited to watch because we've seen J.R. Verzane be 90 points on this horse last year at Fresno, and look at this. Woo, that's a ride going on.
I mean, that's wild. That's a lot of jerk on the front end. I mean, but it's wild and looks great.
Well, Jared Smith doing his part, the Florida Cowboy trying to win a professional Roughstock championship. Let's go to Kelly and get his take on it.
That horse was out of line. Jared spurred over his neck a few times. That horse right there is what we'd call hard to track. He did a great job, 76 points. Don't know if it'll make the final 4, but he bared down and made a great ride.
There you have it, 76 points for Jared Smith as you see him moving to the number 3 spot in a tie behind Wolford and Larson. And this is coming together for Stephen Peoples, last year's champ coming off the big win in Cape Girardeau. Pelvis surgery earlier this year, but it looked like he was back in Cape last week. South Point from Sutton Rodeo Company.
Oh, man, I'm telling you, he's got it rolling. He's got it rolling good. Everything looks fluid throughout the ride. I thought it was a great ride right there. Come off that injury. He's really starting to gain a lot of momentum.
As we see the replay here, it started right off the bat. It didn't take him 2 or 3 jumps to get tapped. He started with the spur out. It's a smooth ride all the way through on a good horse to get on.
Peebles of Redmond, Oregon is going to let the good times roll in Belle Fourche, 83 points, 83. And Peebles continues to roll up the standings now, taking the lead in this go-around as we go to the number 1 rider, Josie Young. This is the horse you like, a rematch here on Gopher Hole.
You bet. He just got on this horse at Clovis and at the pro rodeo there, and he said he really liked this horse. He's fun to ride. He's fun to track. You can see why. Look at this, dragging it all the way to his rigging. Nice ride. Nice bareback
One
ride.
thing about when Josie rides, too, you don't see a hindrance in either foot or the other. Both feet are the same, right straight up the neck. Look at this. Spur out was good. I mean, giving it to him, beating him to the ground, right up to the rigging. This is the way it reads.
Look at those feet snap before they come down. I mean, like cracking a whip. Those feet are coming out, and I mean, he's extending those legs out there with them extra snap. I like that. Judges do too. 81 points. So some big scores on the bareback leaderboard right there, with Josie Young's 81 third ahead of Wolford. Orrin Larson, 82, finishes number 2. And Stephen Peoples does it again. He wins the Longo, 83 points. And Kelly Timmerman is with Stephen Peoples.
Yeah, it feels good. Finally starting to ride good again. It took me a little while to knock the rust off, but now I'm riding good and drawing good, so I'm pretty excited. Just a great horse, and I was a little bit out of the money for the final, so I'm glad this happened.
Coming up next, a battle is brewing in bull riding as Willis Strauss Clare will begin his quest for a 3rd championship this year. Stay tuned.